position on your back. Feel so close. Knees can be bent. Feet can be flat on the ground. See if you can find that gap in the low back, between the mat and the low back, and just elongate your tailbone so you can close that gap a little bit, however much you're comfortable. See if you can soften your shoulders down to the ground. You can place one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. And just feel the breath. Feel the movement the breath makes in your body, lifting your hands and lowering them down. See if you can soften anywhere. Let go of any tension, maybe in the back of your neck or your jaw. Maybe in the low back. Maybe in the back of the thighs. See if you can just ooze into the ground. Just sitting here, paying attention to your breathing. Can you notice more than one aspect of the breath? Maybe the sound, the way it feels. Is the air hot or cold? While you're sitting here connecting with the breath, see if you can imagine your entire body inflating with each inhale. Your arms rising up into the air. I guess your shoulders and forearms. And then collapsing back down with each exhale. Maybe deflating all the way down. The new moon is on Saturdays. It's a great time to set intention and to look. I think it's Virgo. I think it's the new moon in Virgo. It's a good time for self-care and looking in at one's own actions. So if you'd like to set an intention or have a positive affirmation for yourself, now would be the time to find one. And as you're doing that, you can also do a nice quick body scan, make sure you're not holding any tension or any sore, stuck spots. Maybe you want to send a few more breaths in that direction. We're going to do a round of Nodi Shankhana breath while laying down. You can lift your right hand, bring it up to your face. You can place your peace fingers at your forehead in between your eyebrows, your third eye if you'd like. Having the pinky and ring finger ready to close off that left nostril. Having that thumb ready to close off the right nostril. Start by closing off the left. Inhale through the right nostril. Close it off Release the left nostril, exhale out through the left. Inhale here. Closing off that nostril, releasing the right, exhaling out the right. Inhaling here. Exhaling on the opposite nostril. Inhaling here. Exhaling at the opposite nostril. Inhaling here. Always exhaling to the opposite side. You can go ahead and take this breathing at your own pace and your own breath. We'll do about 2 or 3 more breaths on your own. On your next exhale out through the right side, you can release your hands back down to the mat. You can resume breathing normally here. Notice anything's different, anything has changed. Go back to what you were paying attention to before. Is anything different now? Over here, laying on the back, I want you to get a nice strong grip on the back of the mat between your back and the mat. Sit back to pigeons. Really feel your back oozing into the ground. You can do this by breathing into the back body if you'd like. You can imagine the back and the mat so close together and oozing into each other that you can no longer find where one ends and the other begins. Do the same thing with the bottoms of the feet, the soles of the feet. You can even imagine roots growing out of the bottom of the back and the feet, reaching down, planting themselves into the ground underneath you, maybe through a few floors first. As soon as you feel rooted in the ground, you can gently open your eyes if you'd like, and start just by windshield wipering your knees back and forth. Practice keeping that back rooted in the ground, but the knees can sway from side to side. What does that look like in your hips? What does that look like in the low back? You can also practice keeping those feet on the mat. How can you keep the back and the feet on the mat, but let the knees sway side to side? If you've had enough of that, you can hug your knees into your chest and rock back and forth, or do a nice little to and fro movement. You can also do a little back massage by making small circles with your knees. Make sure you go both directions here. And then we'll hug the right knee into the chest, nice and tight, still on the right side. We'll extend the left leg out, so it's just about hovering off the mat. Foot can be flexed here. You may feel a little drag on the top of your spine. Maybe your head wants to pull down. See if you can reset it there. We'll inhale the leg into the air at a 90-degree angle. Foot can still be flexed. If you're having trouble straightening the knee here, you can always bend it and drop it down a bit. Straighten it as it's at a 45-degree angle and use your hand to help the leg come up. Getting nice and sturdy in your back here. Options for your hands. You can be holding onto that knee. You can be gripping onto the sides of the mat. You can also have your hands free, reaching out to the back of the room, fingertips spread apart, palms facing the ground. And if you'd like an even bigger challenge, you can pump those arms when you do this exercise. I'll be holding onto my knee. So make sure you've got your no gap in that low back. Leg is 90 degrees. Foot is pressing against the top of the ceiling, the bottom of the ceiling. And on your next exhale, we'll point the toe, drop the leg down so it's just about hovering on the ground. And inhale back up, flexing the foot. Exhale, leg down, hovering just above the ground. Inhaling back up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. One more like that. Exhaling down. And then inhaling back up. From here, you can hug both knees into the chest again. You can give yourself a little rock back and forth if you'd like. This time we'll hug the left leg into the chest. Bring that right leg long. I'll give my leg a little shake out first. Okay. Bring that right leg long. Hover it above the mat. Flex that foot so you're pressing against the wall. You can inhale up into the air to a 90-degree angle so that foot is touching the ceiling. If your knee is not straightening as much as you'd like it to, just come down a little, straighten that knee, and help lift the leg back up with your arm. Again, you have many options with your hands. You can hold the knee, you can hold the mat, or you can have your arms to your sides, still or pumping. Breathing here. Exhale, point the toe, release the leg down to the mat, just hovering. Inhaling the leg back into the air, flexing that foot at the top. Exhaling, pointing the toe, bringing the foot down. Inhale, bringing it back up. Exhaling down. And inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. One more like that. Exhaling down. And inhaling back up. You can hug that knee into your chest again. You can rock back and forth, sway to and fro, give yourself a little back inside. And we'll start by having both legs straight up in the air. Again, if your legs don't want to straighten out, you can lower them, straighten them up, and use your hands to help lift them into the air. Flexing those feet. Hands optional behind the thighs here, at the sides, gripping the mat, or hovering and pumping. Breathe in here, nice and deep. Exhale, point the toe, lower the legs down, hovering. Inhaling, back up in the air. Exhaling down. Inhaling, back up. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. Two more like that. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. And last one. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. Hug those knees into your chest again. This time, extend that left leg down so it's straight and resting against the mat. Hold your right leg in nice and tight. We're going to gently bring it over just the knee, leaving the hip where it is. Just bring the knee over to the left side of the body. Just a nice gentle stretch. Breathing here. And then we'll open that knee out to the right side. Breathing here. And back to center. Now we'll straighten out the right leg so it's at a 90-degree angle. Again, you can drop it down. Use your hands to help you bring it back up. All right, we're gonna make a big circle with the right leg. We're gonna start by crossing over the body, then going down and coming back up in a big swing. Mari Windsor says down, cross, and up. Down, cross, and up. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna make me giggle. All right, you can point the toe here or flex the foot wherever you're more comfortable. And we'll go ahead and breathe in nice and deep and exhale, down, cross, and up. Down, cross, and up. Inhale on the up, exhale on the down and cross. Breathe, inhaling up, exhaling down and cross. Inhale up, exhale down and cross. One more like that, inhaling up, exhaling down and across. All right. Same thing, opposite way. So we'll go cross up and down. Cross up and down. Can you exhale on your down? Inhale on your up. Exhaling on your down. Across, up, and down. One more like that. Across, up, and down. All right, hug both knees into the chest again. Give yourself a little roll back and forth. This time we'll keep the left leg hugged in, extend the right leg to the mat. From here, we'll take that left knee over to the right side of the body. Again, the hip stays where it is. Can you find space in that upper thigh where your hip is pulling one direction and your knee is pulling another? And can you exhale the knee out to the left side? Just gently breathing here. Opening up those hips. And you can hug that left leg into center again. We'll straighten it up, try to make a 90-degree angle, drop it down and bring it back with your hands if you need to. Flexing the foot here, just hold it for a minute, see if you can release any tension you're holding in your hips. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale to down, cross, inhale up. Exhaling down, cross, inhale up. Down, cross, inhaling up. Two more like that. Down and up. Ooh. Down and up. We'll do one more. Down. All right, come back to that 90-degree angle with your feet, flexing that foot like it's on the ceiling. We'll go the opposite way down. Can you breathe in nice and big here? And then exhale on your down, cross and up. Down, cross and inhaling up. Exhale down and crossing, inhaling up. Two more like that. Inhaling up, down, cross and up. We'll do one more. Down, cross and up, just like that. Hug both knees into the chest, nice and tight. You can extend both legs out in front of you. And we'll roll onto one side. Using your elbow underneath your shoulder, make sure you're nice and sturdy here. Can you find space in that side body? Feet are up maybe about 6 inches. If I'm straight back, I bring my feet up about 6 inches here. This is my thing. Take the top of the foot, point it towards the ceiling. Point that toe. Then we'll inhale, kick that leg in the air. Exhale, drop it down. Again, you can use that opposite hand in front of you for balance if you'd like. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. We'll do one more like that. Inhaling up and exhaling down. From here, you can come into a side plank. Again, you can put your hand underneath and come into a full side plank if you'd like. You can place that opposite foot on top of the other foot and come into a full side plank like this. You can use this top foot as balance by bringing it behind you. You can use your front foot or front hand in front of you if you'd like. Breathing here. We'll drop the hip back down. Bring that arm back down to the mat. All right, we're gonna do big scissors. So, lifting both ankles, bottom ankle about 2 or 3 inches off the ground, whatever comfortable for you. Your feet can be flexed or pointed. I like pointed toes. We'll just do 5 breaths while you insanely cut your scissor legs in the air. Okay, you ready? And go. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath, inhaling here, and exhale, let everything go. Go ahead and roll onto your opposite side. Making sure your elbow is underneath your shoulder. Hip is nice and grounded down into the earth. Can you feel space in that side body here? Almost like you're pushing out of your shoulder. You try to reach, try to reach those side muscles nice and long. All right. Pointing the toe, bringing the top of the foot towards the sky. We'll inhale and kick up 5 times. Inhaling here and exhaling down. Inhale here, exhale down. Inhale here, exhale down. Inhaling here, exhaling down. Inhale, and one more time, inhaling up and exhaling down. All right, coming into side plank. You can stay on your elbow or come onto your palm, lifting that hip off the mat. You can use that top leg for balance if you'd like, or place it on the opposite side, on top of the bottom. 5 good breaths here. And release back down. All right. Coming into big scissors. Again, you can balance yourself with that opposite arm up front. Lift those ankles a couple inches off the ground. And breathe 5 good breaths while kicking your legs in the air. Ready, go. One more breath. And then you can come back to your side. Sorry, Trip. All right. When you're ready, we'll get into a comfortable seat at the center of your mat. When you're ready, we'll take our arms to that big T again. Exhale, one arm over top the other, doesn't matter which one is. Once you've reached where you think you basically can probably stretch, see if you can maybe move a micromillimeter further. Breathing here, checking in with the ribs, make sure we didn't try to find our space there. If your shoulders are creaking up by your ears, see if you can relax them down. On your next inhale, make a nice big T again. Exhale, crossing the opposite arm on top. Again, when you've reached your edge, see if you can maybe move a micromillimeter more. Make sure your ribs aren't popping out. You found space in the shoulders and in the arms. On your next inhale, make a big T again. Exhale the arms into the air, lightning bolts coming out of the fingertips, nice and big engaged hands. Exhale, bend that right elbow, left hand on top of the right ankle, and push that arm gently down. Release that top arm, reach around to the back and reach for that opposite hand behind you, maybe your t-shirt, maybe a bra strap, maybe a ponytail. On your next exhale, we'll come back to our T. We'll inhale back above us. Exhale the opposite arm to bend. And gently press it down. Release that top arm, come around to the back. Grab your hand behind you, maybe your bra strap, maybe a t-shirt. See if your ribs are poking out. Did you find space there instead of the shoulders? I did. On your next inhale, make your big nice T again. Exhale the arms into the air. Inhale here. Exhale to T. Nice big goalpost arms. From here, we'll gently twist to one direction, placing the opposite hand over the knee and reaching for the back of the room. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale the twist to the back. Inhaling for a nice long spine. Exhale, twisting. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, twist. Inhaling back to center. And exhaling to the opposite side. Nice big inhale to elongate the spine. And exhale to twist further to the back of the room. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale, nice long spine. And exhale, twist to the back of the room. On your next exhale, you can twist back to the center and we'll gently come into tabletop pose in the middle of the mat. All right, coming into tabletop, wrists are underneath shoulders. Knees are underneath hips. You can bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Imagine the tops of the feet are gripping the mat underneath. On your next inhale, we'll shine the chest forward, drop your udders down, cow pose. Exhale, rounding in the back, releasing that tailbone down, cat pose. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. You can continue this movement at your own pace and your own breath. Linking the breath to the movement. Finding space in the spine. You can also introduce S and C curves if you'd like. Just waking up the spine. When you're ready, you can find stillness in the spine. We'll tuck the toes under. We'll push the seat to the heels here. You can help your toes if they need it. And if you don't feel any sort of stretch in the bottoms of the feet here, I welcome you to walk your fingertips closer to you. Come up to a seated pose if you'd like, or just press deeply into those feet. And when you've had enough of that, we'll just tuck the toes under still and push back into downward facing dog. Your knees can be bent as deeply or as shallowly as you'd like here. Pulling those heels towards the bottom of the mat. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. And start by pedaling out in the feet, bringing those heels nice and close to the mat on either side. When you're ready to come to stillness, we'll inhale the heels into the air and exhale, pull them back down to the mat. Breathing here. On your next exhale, we'll hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Your knees can be bent as deeply or shallowly as you'd like here. You can be folded as deeply or shallowly as you're comfortable. If you'd like, you can imagine every exhale bringing you a little bit closer into the pose. A little bit more deeply folded. Your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins, come into a nice, long, flat back. Imagine there's a string coming out of the top of your head, pulling your spine nice and long. And on your next exhale, ooze down into that forward fold. Maybe at the deepest expression you're comfortable. Option here to grab opposite elbows and sway back and forth. You can also interlace your fingers behind your back. Or bring your peace fingers around the big toe for yogi toe. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. Hello, Trey. You have an hour. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Pressing the bottoms of the feet into the ground. Make sure you're not falling into that arch. Imagine the balls of the feet and the heels coming together and lifting up in the center of the foot. Lifting up through that arch. You can also imagine there's a block on either side of the foot. You're trying to energetically push those blocks away from your feet. Release that tailbone nice and long. Let go of any tension in the glutes. Release the shoulders down the back. We'll inhale the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, folding forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. One deep breath in down dog. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. Release your hands to either side on your exhale. Inhale your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, folding forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing one breath in down dog. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Exhaling to lower your hands to either side. Inhale your hands above your head. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhaling to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Inhaling here. Exhale, hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. Exhale, release your arms to either side. Inhaling your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Inhaling here. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Okay, one more like that. Inhaling your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing here. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. All right, beautiful. Excuse me. Frog in my throat. All right. Starting in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. From here, we'll inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Let your legs stand here for a breath. On your next inhale, we'll bend the knee and open the hips into the air. Option to make circles with your knees here. From here, you can lift that right arm into the air and drop that right leg back to come into rock star pose. Wherever you are, 5 good breaths. When you're ready, bend that knee nice and tight. We'll swing the foot forward in between the hands. Help it if you need to. From here, we'll drop that back knee down, release the tops of the toes onto the mat, and inhale the arms into the air for Anjaneyasana. You can gaze at your thumbs for a gentle back bend. On your next exhale, you can frame the front foot with your hands. We'll tuck that back foot under and step it up about 12 to 18 inches so that both feet are flat on the mat. Reach for a block here if you'd like. And just see if you can imagine reaching that forehead toward your shin. Get rid of any props you may have and kick that back foot back so you're back in your low lunge. We'll kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower the knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Pause here for a breath. Check in with that right heel, bring it back down to the mat. On your next inhale, bend your knee and open your hips up. Option to drop that foot back behind you and come into rock star pose. 5 good breaths wherever you are. And when you're ready, bend that knee nice and tight and swing it forward so it comes in between your hands. Drop that back knee down, bring the top of the foot to the mat, and inhale your arms into the air for Anjaneyasana. On your next exhale, frame the front foot with your hands. We'll tuck that back toe under, lift that leg up, and kick it in about, 12 inches, so that both feet are flat on the mat. You can reach for a block here if you'd like. And see if you can imagine your forehead reaching towards your shin. Move any blocks you may have, you can take that back foot and kick it back so you're in your low lunge again. We'll kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhale to roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale to press back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths and down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. You can release your hands to either side. We'll do a few more like that. Standing in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to bend the knees, lower the bum down, come into chair pose. Can you get that cat spine in your low back and that cow spine in your upper back? Breathing here. Bending the knees as deeply as you can. On your next exhale, fold forward, plant your hands. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling to press back into downward facing dog. Inhaling your right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Check in with that left heel, bring it back down to the mat. Exhale to bend the knees, swing the foot forward so you're in your low lunge. From here, I want you to lift the right arm into the air, low lunge twist. You're supported in this pose, so can you go deeper? Can you make that right angle in the knee? Can you pull that right hip back in space? On your next exhale, you can plant that hand on either side of your feet. Kick this front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward in between your hands, help it if you need to. Lift that left arm into the air for your low lunge twist. Since you're supported here, can you get that knee into a nice right angle, 90-degree bend? Can you feel that left hip moving back in space? Can you reach your arms into the air? Can you smile? Exhale, plant your hand on the mat, kick back to a downward facing dog. Inhale to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose or whatever pose you feel is restful. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale your hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. We'll inhale the arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward. Nope. Inhale your arms all the way back up again for Urdhva Hastasana. Let's exhale, bend the knees, come into chair pose. Breathing here. On your next exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And we'll come into chair pose twist by taking that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. If you're more comfortable with your feet together, you can heel toe them. So the balls of the feet are together. Knees are bent. Bum is as low as it can go. On your next inhale, we'll come back to chair pose. Exhale, harness the heart center and come into the other side for your chair twist. On your next inhale, come back to chair pose and exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward in between your hands. Help it if you need to. Low lunge. Rotate that back heel down. Lift your arms into the air for warrior one. Exhale your hands behind you. Interlace them back behind your back and come down for humble warrior. On your next inhale, come back into warrior one. We'll exhale down into warrior two. And then we'll windmill the arms down to frame that front foot. Kick the front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward in between your hands. Help it if you need to. Low lunge. From here, we'll rotate that back heel down and lift your arms up into the air for warrior one. Exhale your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers back behind your back. Bring your chest to your knee for humble warrior. On your next inhale, bring your arms up for warrior one. And exhale out to warrior two. Windmill your arms down to frame that front foot. Kick the front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. Exhaling, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing here, 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose or whatever pose you feel is restful. On your next exhale, we'll hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long, flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. And release your hands to either side. And we'll inhale the arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, exhale into chair pose. Releasing that low back, coming into that cat spine in the low back, cow spine in the upper back. Bending those knees nice and deep, lowering that bum. Exhaling, folding forward, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to roll forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Inhaling the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward, help it if you need to. Low lunge. From here, lift your arms into the air for high lunge. Hands through heart center. Let's pop into a high lunge twist. Bring that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. One deep breath here. On your next inhale, come back into your high lunge. Drop that back ankle down for warrior one. Make sure your knee is nice and bent. Exhale out for warrior two. Reaching your arms in either direction. Lift that palm up into the air, reach forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Make sure that front knee is bent. On your inhale, straighten that knee. Exhale forward and down for triangle pose. Breathing in triangle. On your next inhale, come back into warrior two and exhale down into side angle pose. On your next exhale, we'll windmill the hands down so you're in a wide-legged forward fold at the side of the mat. From here, we'll heel toe the feet together as much as you're comfortable, and we'll come into a squat. Elbows can press the knees against elbows, pressing against the knees, pushing them away from each other. Your heels come to the mat. Good job. If they don't, you can put any sort of support underneath them. In your next exhale, you can drop your hands to the mat, lift that bum into the air, make your way over to a downward facing dog on the mat. When you're ready, we'll inhale, rolling forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward, help it if you need to. So you're in your low lunge. Your arms into the air for a high lunge. Exhale, hands through heart center, and we'll come into our high lunge twist, pressing that elbow on the outside of the knee. Take one breath here. Inhaling nice and big and exhaling. On your next inhale, we'll come back into our high lunge. Rotate that back heel down and come into your warrior one. Exhale out for warrior two. Inhale your palm up, forward, and back to reverse your warrior. Make sure that front knee is bent. Inhale that front knee straight. Exhale forward and down for triangle pose. Breathing here. On your next inhale, come back into warrior two and exhale down into side angle pose. On your next exhale, windmill your hands down so you're in a wide-legged forward fold. You can walk your fingertips behind you if you'd like to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Walk those fingertips forward and then back to frame that front foot. We'll take that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale to press back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog, or whatever pose you feel is restful. And your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. All right. We'll go through that one more time. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward, help it if you need to, low lunge. Rotate that back heel down and lift your arms into the air for a warrior one. Exhale your hands back behind you, interlace them, and bring your chest to your knee for humble warrior. Inhale your arms back up for warrior one. Exhale your arms out to the side for warrior two. Inhale your palm into the air and then back to reverse your warrior. Inhale your knees straight, exhale forward and down to come into triangle pose. Inhale back into warrior two. Exhale into side angle pose. From here, windmill your hand down to frame that front foot again. This time we're going to kick off the back foot and come into warrior three. Hands can be at heart center, they can be out straight in front of you, or they can be hands at heart center, whatever you prefer. 5 good breaths here. Option to open up the hips and come into half moon. When you're ready, you can exhale that back leg back. You can kick that front leg back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing your foot forward, help it if you need to, low lunge. Inhale, rotate that back heel down, lift your arms into the air, warrior one. Exhale your hands back behind you, come forward for humble warrior. Inhaling back up to warrior one. Exhaling out to warrior two. Inhaling that palm up, forward, and back for reverse warrior. Inhale that leg nice and straight, reach forward and then down for triangle pose. Inhaling back to warrior two, exhaling down to side angle pose. On your next exhale, we'll frame that front foot and kick off that back leg so you come into warrior three. Hands can be reaching out in front of you at heart center or on the mat or blocks. 5 good breaths here. Option to open up those hips and come into half moon pose. On your next exhale, you can drop that back foot back behind you. You can kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Exhale, release your hands to either side. And we'll do a couple balancing poses real quick. I'm going to lead you in tree. You can place one foot on the mat, Find the four corners of the foot, feel nice and strong connection with the mat. Your opposite foot can be kickstand to the ankle, pressed against the calf, or pressed into the inner thigh. As long as the knee is not touching the foot, you're fine. Hands can be on your hips at heart center or branches blowing in the breeze. And when you're ready, you can shake that foot off and go ahead and switch legs. Kickstanding that ankle, heel to the ankle, foot against the calf, or knee pressing into the inner thigh. I said knee, I meant heel. Heel pressing into the Again, hands can be at heart center, on your hips, branches blowing in the breeze. And when you're ready, you can release your foot from your leg, give your legs a little shake off, and we'll come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. From here, inhale the arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward, loose chest. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. On your next, option 4, vinyasa here. If you'd like, you can inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra and exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hips, and swing the shin forward, and we'll come into pigeon pose. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight behind you. You're giving yourself any support you may need, shining that chest towards the ceiling, and then rolling down for pigeon. On your next inhale, you can lift your chest into the air, maneuver your legs around so you can come into a tabletop pose. We'll tuck the back toes under here, lift yourself back into downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa here, we'll lift, inhaling forward to plank, exhaling to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra, and exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Inhaling the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight. Give yourself any support you may need. Shining that chest to the sky and then rolling down for pigeon. Your next inhale, you can lift your chest into the air, move any props you may have. Come back into a tabletop pose. We'll tuck those back toes under, come into a downward facing dog. Last vinyasa, totally optional. Inhaling, coming forward to plank pose. Exhaling, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, go ahead and roll forward to plank and lower yourself down to the mat. We'll roll onto our backs. Place your feet flat on the mat. We'll go ahead and windshield wiper your legs back and forth, side to side. When you're ready, you can hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a nice little hug, rock back and forth, sway to and fro. And you'll gently drop those feet back down to the earth. Feel for your heels with your fingertips. Come into bridge pose. Lifting the hips into the air, reaching that chest towards the chin. Option to wiggle those shoulder blades underneath you. And interlace your hands behind your back. 3 to 5 good breaths here. When you're ready, you can release your hands, release your shoulder blades. Bring that spine back down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And windshield wiper the knees back and forth if you'd like. And when you're ready, come back into bridge pose, lifting those hips into the air, reaching that chest towards the chin. Wiggling those shoulder blades underneath you and interlacing those hands back behind your back. 3 to 5 good breaths here. You can release your hands, release your shoulders, release your back down to the mat. You can windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you can come into your final bridge pose. And after 3 to 5 breaths, you can release your back down to the mat. And when you're ready, you can come back down to the mat. Windshield wiper those knees back and forth. Hug those legs into your chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. And then drop the knees down to one side. Both shoulders are on the mat. Your gaze can be at the ceiling or over the opposite shoulder. On your next inhale, you can lift your knees into the center again and drop them down to the opposite side. On your next inhale, lift your knees back to your center. Hug those knees into your chest, nice and tight. Rock back and forth, left and right. Reach your legs straight beneath you and reach your arms long above your head. Take your left hand and grab your right wrist and lift your right arm to the left side, finding space in those intercostal muscles between each of the ribs. From here, take that right ankle and cross it over the left. You can even move your left foot over towards the left if you'd like, as long as your hips stay in the center. This is crescent moon. Go ahead and uncross your ankles, return to center. Reach those arms nice and long. This time we'll grab the left wrist with the right hand and yank that left arm over to the right side. Finding space in those muscles between the ribs. You can also cross that left ankle over the right here and move that right foot towards the right side. On your next exhale, you can come back to center, release your arms down. And release your feet. And if you'd like, you can bend those knees into your chest again and come into happy baby, reaching for the interior of those arches, pulling those knees into your elbows. You can gently rock back and forth. When you're ready, you can release your feet down onto the mat. Release your hands down to either side. Take a deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Let all your hard work settle into all your muscles and bones. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. You can introduce small movements to your fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, you can lay on one side, using your arm as a pillow, and take a breath in the fetal position. Then using that same slow quality of movement, you can come up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to heart center and we'll close with one Om. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to yoga and doing something for you. Inhaling here. Om. Loka, Samasa, Subino, Bhavantu. May all beings be free. Namaste.